I forget that. Gosh, too many good ones. Okay. I think we are good to go, and we're streaming on all of our platforms and everything. Okay, cool. Hey, good morning. What's going on, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome to Academy. Grateful to see you guys bright and early for many of us here. But if you're pumped for today, give me a big wave or throw a 10 in the comments below. We are in a phase of just streamlining everything. And if you want to win big in business, we're gonna be talking about how to get to six figures in 6 months there. We're gonna talk about strategies and everything. Um, but it's in reflection towards what are the essentials, what are the basic things to be able to move fast. And I remember 15 years ago, I got started in this wonderful industry, never thinking I'd make a single penny. And but I saw the opportunity. I'm like, man, it'd be nice to have residual income. It'd be nice to be able to travel. It'd be nice to be able to work from your phone. It'd be nice to have all these different types of things, but how do you do it? And I remember my mentor, he gave me some priorities that I downloaded into my philosophy and I started to act out. And in 15 years, these philosophies have led to scale and duplication and impact and everything. And one of those was this. He says, that if you want to scale a business, if you want something to be leveraged, if you want something that can go around the world, who here wants that, by the way? Give me a wave or put a me in the comments below. Then it's not about how well you do yourself. It's not about how much you can sell and how much you can recruit, which of course that's important. It's about what your team is becoming, right? Teamwork makes the dream work. So you want to do things that duplicate. You want to think about in the future when you have 100 people, 500 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people in your organization. Now, that might be stretching some of your visions because I remember when I was new, I'm like, I could barely think about getting myself out of the bed, let alone 1,000 people. But I'm like, but that'd be nice. So he said, if you want that to be the case, that leaders prioritize academy and they promote it and they scale it and they duplicate that. Why? It's the best trained team that wins. It's the best trained team that wins. And if you had 1,000 people, could you possibly train all 1,000 yourself? Or if you want a life, isn't it wiser to promote and plug them all into an event like this and have the event do the training for them? I scratched my head and I'm like, that's a lot of talking. Even if you like talking, that's too much, right? I want my voice to do other different types of talking. So it became in our ecosystem, it became in our philosophy to do these. And it's been 15 years that every Saturday this has been a thing, and we made it a big priority. In fact, we actually scheduled our wedding to be on a Sunday so we can make a Saturday, for example. Now, these days we're a little bit more flexible. There's different time zones, and people got stuff going on. So we're in a different day and age. So we do replay everything. We do put them in our groups and everything. But who here would agree that it's just different when you're live still, right? Because it's not just about hearing the information, it's about transformation. Who here is here today because you want to be impacted and you want your business to transform for the better, right? Like that's the key right there. So with that, that's why we're here in Academy, and we got some cool things to chat about. I want to start with some recognition. And what is this? Who is this towards? Who is Academy for? It's for everybody, but specifically, Academy is designed for the person that says, I want to be a mover and shaker in this. This is not for the faint of heart person that's just here just for fun. This is for you're committing yourself, right? This, for most of us, this is a Saturday. This is a weekend. There's a lot of things you could be doing. You could be watching Bridgerton right now, right? Like that could eat up your Saturday. But you're the one saying, no, I want to, for the season of my life, invest in me so I can be better and I can achieve the goals that I want in this business faster, right? If that describes you, put in the chat, I'm a mover. I'm a mover, just like what Tammy did right there, right? So That being the case, specifically, this group, our goal in an academy is to help you focus on a core rank, a core focus that we call 10 and 2. All right, 10 and 2, and we'll dive into the strategy today, is a strategy that if you follow this, you can make at least an extra $500 a month. But if you continue to follow this and duplicate this, it's 10 customers, 2 partners. That's the focus every month. If you focus on this, even if you don't understand the compensation plan, you do this for 6 months and you duplicate it into your team, you'll be on track to even making 6 figures in 6 months. Some do it faster. We've seen people in the organization do this faster now. Some do it slower. Hey, let me ask this question. Even if it takes you 6 years to make a residual 6-figure income a year, meaning you don't have to work and it makes you 6 figures, put a 6 in the comments if you think that's still worth it right there, right? Like that's your retirement plan. I was chatting with Lucia here. She's one of our directors out in New Zealand. And we were talking yesterday about some new business going on over there. I was asking Lucia when she sleeps, because it's like 2 a.m. in the morning or 3 a.m. in the morning first. Like she never sleeps. And we're talking about how to scale this whole thing out, right? So it's super crucial that we know. So our goal in this academy is to give you tips and tricks and mindsets and everything to be able to do that. So I'm going to share with you guys an essential tool that's going to help you. I'm going to chat with Miss Angie Bloom Hewitt in a bit as well too, because Miss Angie actually just wrapped up 10 and 2 again. Is this not like the best photo, by the way? Like does this not describe Angie well? Like this is her in her element, right? If you haven't seen Angie yet. So congratulations. She's done this 7 times, by the way, right? Like that's a major, major deal. But I want to start with this, okay? I want to bring us back home to everything. There's a lot of growth that's happening in Partner Co. We are preparing for the biggest launch in the world of then a product that is going to take your income and your health to the next level. Who here is excited about the Renew launch that's coming this Monday? Now, it is in North America. It's starting to go global over time, but this is a very major deal. This launch played well. You want to get every single one of your people to this. This post is in our Wellness 360 group. If you haven't registered, you want to make sure that you register for this, of course. We also, by the way, if you're in the machine or you have your prospects in the machine, we sent out an email this morning getting everyone registered for this too, so your tools can help do the work for this. Tammy asked, would you post this on your social media? You can. Go all in. Whatever's on your heart. You want as many people on this as possible, right? Every prospect, every business partner, everyone onto this. So these are huge that you want to make sure that you get them onto. But we have that. But I bring this up because Partner Co is doing everything they need to do to give us the best opportunity ever. If you've ever wanted to be a part of Momentum, this is that time. But what's more important is if Partner Co is doing what they need to do, how do you make sure that you take advantage of that, right? People are blowing up. We're seeing success left and right. But what about me? And I was reflecting a lot. Maybe just because we have a kid on the way and I'm like, this is the last run. You know, I got 90 days to make this count. I got 90 days to make sure that we can help you win as big as possible. And I was reflecting back, and anyone that does 10 and 2, it's a skill set and a mindset, which we want to give to you guys today, right? We just wrapped up 7 times 10 and 2 as well too. And I was reflecting in the beginning of how it was. And I don't know if any of you feel this way, but you see people that are winning and you're like, are they just different than me? Is Angie just different? You know, like, are these people just like mutants? Are they just born and bred to be network marketers? And the reality is this is absolutely not. Leaders are not born, they are created. And every single one of us can do this. So I remember when I got started, and I was talking with my mentors, it was completely different. Like, I remember being so scared of even the idea of getting one customer, even being able to enroll one part. Like, a customer was one thing. A partner, though, is anyone a little bit scared, or were you scared of like enrolling another business partner? You're like, who's going to do this crazy thing for me? I'm not making no money. I've never done business before. Like, I was so shy, I couldn't even order food at a restaurant. I'm like, who would follow me? So I remember I discounted myself. But thank goodness I went to a training like this. And I met with my mentors, and they shared with me that there's a mindset and a skill set on doing things. And they said, if you want more, you must first become more. They said that you can do this. Anyone can do this business. It doesn't matter if you're from Yale or jail. You can absolutely do this. You just have to be willing, coachable, and hungry to learn what it takes and to do what it takes. So I remember scratching my head. I'm like, all right, well, let's go figure this thing out. And I'll be honest with you, for a long time, I sucked at this, right? Like, now, 10 and 2, 10 customers and 2 partners, it's like a part of, it's like, it's just second nature. But it definitely was not like that. I'm sure if you ask Angie, it was not like that before as well, too. Things need to be trained. But if you make the decision to say, I'm going to follow the plan, and I'm going to get better every single day, where eventually it's going to become second nature. Who here wants to be so good at this business where it's harder to not make money than it is to make money? Right? Can you imagine you're so good and just money just flows to you? Right? You wake up and just customers come. You just can't help. I know when Angie talks to somebody, she already knows they're getting started. It's just like, just put them on the phone with me. But it wasn't always like that, you know. Angie, who was Angie before? Even in your early business days, like, I want us to reflect, because you've been in sales, business all your life and everything. It's something developed. Were you just, and you have giftings. All of us is gifting and talents. You're great at talking as well too. But when it comes to network marketing and when it comes to recruiting, like, was that something you were just like always good at doing, or was there a phase you had to learn how to recruit?
Sorry. I had to learn. I had to hone my skills, but I will say one of the things that does come natural to me is talking. My grandmother used to say, Angie knows no strangers. I'll walk up to anybody and just, it used to get me in trouble when I was a kid all the time. I talk too much, you talk too much, but that's that's my thing. Now there's a lot of things I'm not good at, a lot, but yeah,
You can talk.
I can talk to people. I can talk to anybody.
And all of us have innate giftings and talents, right? And then some of us start at more the, which is not a bad thing, right? Lean into your gift with that. But even the art of recruiting, let's talk about recruiting, because customers here, like, if you just follow our launch plan, you make your post, you're doing your engagement sandwich, you do like, you're going to get customers. I want to ask you about recruiting. Talk to me about a time when you were figuring out the recruiting process to bring someone into your business. Because it's one thing to talk and to explain and to be excited. It's another thing to recruit. What did you learn was key in recruiting someone into a business?
The thing that I've learned and I'm still learning and still doing is trying to self-improve myself. You have to be someone that somebody really trust enough to follow you. It's not enough to like you, but like, where are you? Do you look like you know where you're going? Where are you going in your business? Is this just a hobby for you? Is it just one more of those things? Because we've done multiple things. Most of us here. I've done so many of, like, 14 of these, this company twice before it was this company. So there's a flakiness that is perceived in this business. Are you flaky? Are you constant? Are you steady? Will somebody want to hitch their wagon next to yours and know that they're going somewhere? So that's important. So self-improvement, constantly reading, constantly listening. I've got a 3-hour Tony Robbins thing after this. You know, just constantly constantly trying to grow yourself.
Mm,
Take that responsibility, because it's not enough to sign them up and just drop them.
mm.
Half these people won't stay anyway. You have to give them a reason, a purpose, a hope, a fire to want to be with you.
This is huge. Remind me, my mentor said this when I was new. He said that, and my mentor like went from like so he didn't have a car. So when he got started in his business, he was rolling around in roller skates, and then within a year or two became a multimillionaire. And he said the greatest tip that his mentor gave to him was what you just said, Angie, which is, why would someone want to work with you if they don't even want to be like you?
So true. It is
Right?
so true. It
And,
is.
and when you realize that secret, though, that is the tip of the spear. It's like, how do I get better every single day and become that person that someone would want to sign up with? Right. So that's why you invest into yourself. That's a huge key. Like, guys, put a 5 in the chats if you're still with us on this. Because if you're having struggles recruiting somebody, you got to recruit yourself first. Any other notions on that? So, how about this, Angie? People are consistent. They're doing the do. Like, they're going to the training and they think that they're serious and they're going somewhere. But what do you think is the difference maker of someone that people get started with left and right and someone that's just super consistent? Because, you know, everyone here is super consistent. They're here. But what's that next level? Like, what do you think is an X factor?
It's not enough. No shade, but it is not enough to be here. It's not enough to just show up at every class, at every seminar, at everything. It's important to be that. It's also important to lead that. That's why we started the book club. That's why we started Fortune and Follow Up Friday, because sometimes people just need direction. They need to know, okay, what's next, or where am I struggling? So if you're going to lead a team, for me anyway, or trying to recruit, people want to be a part of that when they see that synergy that you have going. Once you start getting that going, and that starts with us, all of us, but it's not enough to just show up and then lay it down for the day and say, well, I've done my work. I went to academy. It's not enough to go to Manager Monday haphazardly, but then not implement, what you're learning, and then share it with your team and challenge them to grow too, because we're only as good as the team. There's no I in team. So
good. So good. Angie, thanks for sharing that. I know this is totally impromptu, but I love it because this is just your philosophy now. Right. Thanks for sharing. Hey guys, I hope
thank you.
Did you. Thank you. Absolutely. Every single one of us has the opportunity to change. Every single one of us has an opportunity to get better, has the potential to get better. But it's up to each and every single one of us to make that commitment of that daily do of saying, I'm going to just lead myself the best first. I'm going to, for example, understand and go through the launch series. I'm going to do my daily do in my post. I'm going to reach out to people. I'm going to have a serious intention that I'm going to go somewhere, right? My mentor said, do you look like you're somebody that's serious and going somewhere? So think about how you show up on social media. Think about how you show up in the chats. Think about how you show up in your family, right? Like here is cool. But what matters is your prospects are out there, right? So when they're around you, do you think they'll say, if I'm to bet who's going to be the top money earner, I would bet it's going to be Kamisha. I would bet it's going to be Elaine. I would bet it's going to be Adela, for example, right? Think about that right now. And when I thought about these types of things, it was not overnight, but eventually it became that way. That's what happened with Angie. It's like, I know it's going to happen one day. So I just want to start with that mindset of things, because change won't happen overnight, but that intention and decision can. And it's not a matter of if you succeed, it's a matter of when you succeed, and it's going to get better. And then on the daily do, just get better. But how do we focus on this? You play this game, right? So we have our system, we have our schedules and everything. One of the biggest things that I learned strategically in my business was a focus on what we call a core rank. A core rank is a simple strategy that if you focus on and if you duplicate, will duplicate your business. So for us, it's 10 and 2, 10 customers, 2 partners, or more specifically, 3 a week. Who here feels that if you are deeply intentional, you could help one person with their health or one person with their business every other day of the week? Put a me in the comments if you feel like that might be possible. If that was your absolute obsession to be able to help 3 people a week, right? Like that's a business there. It's just you start to do this. We broke this down. This is in our Warrior Movement Facebook page. But if you start to do this, we broke it down and you duplicate it, you can actually make almost $1,000 in your first month. If every week, my goal is I'm going to help 2 people in the drops and 1 people become a partner, 2 people in the drops, 1 become a partner, and then duplicate that. Like that's not bad. So when I got started, I accepted the challenge of saying, I'm going to go do a core rank. And it scared the living daylights out of me. Because I'm like, I got to go talk to people. I got to go figure this out. I got to be on social media. Dude, my social media, the only people that like my post was my mom. I don't know about you guys. Like this was a foreign thing. But it's not about doing what's comfortable. Successful people, they do the uncomfortable until it becomes comfortable. So I understood there was a learning process. I understood that there was a game and I got better with it. But you know what it forces you to do to become a better student? So like what Angie said, it's not enough just to show up to the training. I showed up first. I left last. And in Zoom days, what that means is I'm intentional. I'm actually taking notes. There's people here that have notepad and pen out and you're like downloading things. There's others that you're, and nothing against this, I do this as well too, but you're doing errands and you got it in your earbud and you're kind of haphazardly taking a note, right? However that it is, there's a different intention. The intention that should be with the training is, I'm going to take this and extract all the golden nuggets. I'm going to implement this and it's going to work, right? I'm going to win in this type of thing. Some of you are going to be serious students. You're going to be watching this on replay. You're going to be like, man, I got to repeat this and repeat this and repeat this until I can't get it wrong, right? So that was the game. And I remember those first times I would implement, it was super awkward. Who here's made a post and you realize it was wrong, right? Or you did the wrong boards, or you're like, where was it again? Like that's a part of the process. You kind of learn through the do. I remember I was so bad with my business. I was making a phone call according to the training, and I got stopped in the middle of the phone call. And my prospect was like, wait, James, are you reading from a script? And I literally was. And I threw it away and I played it up. I'm not reading from a script, but he caught me. It hurt. I'm like, dang, that sucks. But hey, you got to go learn through those awkward moments. But eventually you start to get better. And I remember I started to look like I was serious and going somewhere. I understood the processes of the daily methods of operation. I was aiming for the core rank, the 10 and 2. And along the way, my second recruit ever, I learned how to prospect. And I talked to a Becky Ma, who now is a Becky Zhang. And I asked her this question later on, why did she get started? She became a senior officer with her own business. And then we started dating and life is cool. Now she's the mother to our future kid. Anyhow, why did she get started? I think when I recruited her, I made $100 in my business. And she told me it's because she could tell that I was serious and going somewhere. Maybe I was good looking too. Who knows? No, I'm just kidding. But anywho, it does help though, right? To look presentable it is helpful, right? So with that said, I want to make sure that we have that mindset on things, because without that, if you have the right skill set, that's great. But who here knows that skill set is 80% plus of the game? Sorry, mindset is 80+% of the game. Skill set is like secondary, like it's like 20%, right? If you have the right mind state, You can say anything to anybody. I bet Angie, if she's having fun, she can like intentionally say something wrong about the business and the product, and people will still get started because it's an energy, it's an enthusiasm, it's an attitude, which is why people get started with you, right? Put a 100 in the comments if you're still with me. I hope this clicks. I hope this clicks. Now, skills are important. Okay, babe, are you gonna affirm how good looking I am? I'm ready. I'm just kidding.
I did want to add to what you just said about looking serious and going somewhere, because I think people feel like they have to have a huge team, a high rank, and make a lot of money in order to recruit high caliber people, right? And that is totally not the case. And I'll tell you how simple it is to stand out in this business, or like really anywhere. You just have to do what the average people are not willing to do. You know, it's so easy to show up, like, you know, like when you're in trainings, on our prospecting calls, right? Like on our weekly live events, are you on camera? Are you taking notes? Are you nodding? Are you smiling? Right? Are you looking elsewhere or talking to your dog? And like, you know, like it's so easy to stand out. And it's not even about like forcing yourself to do that, because it really is an intention, like what James mentioned. Because if you're really seeking that golden nugget and you're really looking, you'll tell all the people that are winning, that are successful, they will do these things. You know, in James's post about us being qualified 7 times, like he wrote about it, like what he had to learn, because it wasn't natural. Like these things weren't natural to us in the very beginning, right? We didn't know what we're supposed to do, and we just followed what the successful people did, right? So you heard from Angie on how obsessed she is about personal growth, and these are things that she does not here. Like she's doing it behind the scenes when nobody is watching, right? So how are you when you have some downtime, when you're washing the dishes, when you're cleaning your kids, like whatever you're doing, right? Like when you have those downtime, are you thinking about growth? Are you thinking about maximizing your downtime, right? We used to listen to personal development literally 24/7. When people ask us, what's your favorite music? Like we don't listen to music except worship music. Like the only thing we feed our brain is things that are going to make us grow. Okay, so that is how simple it is, because it's just a shift in your intention, right? And it's not just here, right? It's because, you know, you all are here sacrificing your time, and I know you are all serious, right? Like, but it's how you are outside, because that's where your prospects are watching you. When you're going to a family event, are you showing up late? Are you helping? Right? Are you being that person that is always adding value to the people around you? Right? When you have a friend in need, right? Are you proactively checking in with them to see how they're doing? Or are you only asking them if they want to buy something? Right? Like, how are you showing up in your community is going to reflect in your result. Because when you're talking to them about the business, they're going to be like, oh, like I've been waiting for you to ask me, because I would love to follow you and be in your team because of the person that you are, right? And these are not things that are hard to do, because a lot of times people feel like, oh, like it's so much work. It's not really work. It's a shift in focus, right? So stop thinking about what we can get, start thinking about what you can give to other people. And that is going to really help. And that's what the engagement sandwich is, honestly, is we're teaching you to give love to other people, because how many people around us, I mean, how many of us would just love some words of affirmation, right? Would just love someone messaging you privately and maybe mentioned your dog's name, and you're like, oh my gosh, you know my dog's name, like because you paid attention. These are little things that anybody can do. You don't need to be a social butterfly to do it. You just need to have a heart to actually care, right? How about serving your team? Right? When you get a message from your team, or when you're reaching out to your team, do you care about their goals? Do you know what they want? right? When you're asking them to qualify for 10 and 2, do you know why they're in this business and maybe what they're going through in their life? Like that's the personal development, right? Like it's becoming that better version of yourself, right? All these elements are, again, like they're not difficult, but it's a shift in focus, right? So I think that would really lift up a lot of the, oh, this business is so hard. You know, like when James was talking, when James made that post, I was thinking to myself, like, you know, because in the subtitle of the Achieving 10 and 2, we talk about driving to six figures. And I'm thinking about in what career, like in what job, like in what other things that you can do would allow you to have a six-figure raise in the amount of time that you decide. Like it's like people can barely get a six-figure paying job after like 12 years of being in school and 10 years of being in corporate, right? And you get taxed like 40%, right? Depending on where you are in the state. And only in this business, it's so simple. And all you have to do is become a better person. So you have more joy, more love, more fulfillment, more relationships, more memories. Like, and what other thing are you going to do that's going to be able to provide that type of like ecosystem, right? And so that's why I want to emphasize, like, that's the attitude part, that's the mentality part, right? Because that's the 80%. The 20% is the skills. The skills are not hard, right? Like every Tuesday, Dr. Pia does a fantastic fast start to onboard us. Like it's not hard, but it's the little details. So you have to, you really pay attention, right? But when you have that attitude of intention, it's hard to miss things because you know what you're looking for,
Man, I'm fired up. I'm ready to go run through a wall. How about you guys? Thanks, babe, for dropping fire as always. I think our minds are ready. Now, mindset is 80%, but you do need tactics and strategy and skill set as well, too, right? So that is important. Abraham Lincoln was, the story goes that if he was given 8 hours to chop down a tree, he said that he would take 6 hours to sharpen the axe and then 2 to sharpen it, right? So strategy is a big thing. So I want to go through our core rank here and just some of the skill sets. So we talked about onboarding. If you have not yet onboarded, you haven't done your launch post, you don't know what the 7-day launch is, you're like, engagement what? That sandwich what? Like sandwiches are what I eat, not what I do. If you don't know what that is, be sure to go through our onboarding steps and definitely go to Pia's Tuesday Fast Start, which is incredible. I watch every single one. They're so good. I want to sharpen the skills better. And specifically, when we go to the 7-day launch, this is our plan where every day for 30 minutes or so, it's a 5-10 minute video, little action steps. It'll teach you the daily methods of operations that will help you get more customers, get more partners, and it'll start drawing you, like, it'll start working. I was talking with Adela Sanchez right before this. She is 77 years young. All right, 77. She got boards on. She started making her posts. I had a call with her last week and she figured out how to make a post. And then this week, she just started going through the launch stuff. She told me this morning, I could not believe it at first. She said, I got 5 customers this week and I got 5 brand partners this week. And I'm like, what are you doing? She said, I'm just posting and doing the thing. And I still don't really get it, but it's working. I'm like, sweet. Come on. The stuff works if you implement it, right? So congratulations on that. But specifically, I want to go down to day 7. Once you're done with these, this might be your homework this week. Go through the launch steps. And even if you think you did it, you might want to do it again because it's all the little details that matter, right? Angela Ice, she's in our mastermind. She works today, so you're going to make it live. But she told us yesterday, she caught one detail in day number 6 of the launch week. And she's like, oh, I didn't do that. She implemented that immediately afterwards. She was getting customers and partners. She's like, oh, that's just all I missed, right? So awesome. All right. But specifically, our goal is to help you to do this 10 and 2 or 3 a week. And why though? Well, we linked in here. Becky just updated this site. So when you click on 6 figures in 6 months, it'll lead you to our warriormovement.biz website, which, by the way, we are now replaying everything. We made 2 YouTube channels. We have a Warrior Movement YouTube channel that has all of our prospect-facing business calls and also all of our training calls. So if you ever want to replay things, because we heard people couldn't find things in our Facebook groups. So it's all going to be here. All of our Warrior Wisdoms, all of our trainings, all of our everything. So this academy will be up there. And also our Wellness 360 group. We're organizing all this. This will have all of our wellness calls. This will have all of a lot of cool stuff. Okay, so you're going to like these. You're going to want to be on them. But anywho, specifically, when you click on the 6 figures in 6 months, some of us have watched this. Many of us have not. But regardless, I think it's so important because if you want a rapidly scaling business, 6 months ago, we partnered with 2 incredible business minds, Cindy McKnight and Lindsay Yoakum. And they were masters at scale and duplication. They built a business that did 50 million in revenue in a couple years and had 25,000 people in their organization. Come on, that's crazy. 4.5 months into PartnerCo, they optimized their business, they hit senior officer. Every week after, they have essentially been optimizing every week, no problem. In fact, I looked at the volumes today. Their residuals on a Saturday, they're like, wow, it's crazy. Okay, their line already did optimization plus volume. Who here would love on a Saturday for your residual income to kick in and be like, wow, it's nice. Why? Because day one, they passed this philosophy of not just 6 figures in 6 months, but what Cindy calls rockstar versus the system. This stuff works. This philosophy works. The strategy works. So I want to play this. They do around $200,000 of sales a month in their business right now. Only like 6 months in. And they just barely started flexing. It's like crazy. So why? Philosophies. Here's one more thing. Remember, if they can do it, you can do it. If they can do it, you can do it. Why not? Why not you? Right? Put why not me in the chat below. It's important because I'm like, man, one day, let's do it. Let's just have that mindset. Okay, so let me play this video for us. And I'd encourage you, if you're watching this for a multiple time, pick up details you didn't pick up before. If you're watching this for a first time, you might want to watch this again, actually, because it's super, super key. Let me pop this up. Make sure. Is it full screen on your side? Okay, cool. Sounds good. And let me make sure we are good.
Hello. If you're catching this now, probably means you caught the replay. Go ahead and do hashtag replay. Let me know that you were here. My gosh, you guys, this is hands down my absolute favorite training, favorite subject of all time. So make sure that you see it, the people you bring in see it, the people that they bring in see it, and everybody sees this video. And the reason why this is my favorite is because it is a burning passion of mine to help ordinary average people with ordinary average social media presence go make a lot of money. Okay, starting with that first $500 and then working their way up to a 6-figure income in 6 months. Some people it's going to take a little bit less. Some people it's going to take a little bit more. You get to decide your miles per hour. But I'm going to show you right now how the system that we have in place will outrun the rock star, the person who's a social media influencer, the person who can go sell ice to an Eskimo, the person who has a ton of influence over their audience, the people who are just really incredible sellers on social media, which is not the norm. That's not the average. So my goal, my passion is helping people like you go out and create a very, very sustainable and successful business that puts money in your bank account each and every month. So that's what I'm here to show you how to do. And I would argue that even if you are a rock star, even if you can go sell so many of these drops, that I would also be leveraging and plugging other people into this system right here, because it's hard to teach other people how to be a rock star, right? You might be a rock star, but the people you bring in, they can't go and do what you do. So the best thing you can do is plug them into this training right here and show them this video and say, girl, you don't have to sell, or boy, you don't have to sell, right? 1 million units to be successful. Just do this and you will get to 6 figures in 6 months. I have no doubt. Okay, so I am going to take my phone off of this bracket. It ain't fancy. I don't have any special hold to be able to shine down at the paper I'm going to show you, but that's okay. We're not here to be fancy. We're here to be functional. So stay tuned, okay? I've got my Sharpie here. Let's do this. You guys ready? You ready to see how the system that you are plugged into and that you are doing right now and how you can go make 6 figures? You want to see? Excuse me. I'm ready to show you. Okay, let me pull this off. All right. Flip this around. Okay. Rockstar versus the system. Here we go. Let me pull this cap off. Hopefully I won't shine you on my sweatpants that I'm wearing. Okay. We're going to start with the Rockstar here. I'm going to need a lot more space for the system, as you're going to see. Okay, so let me get my papers right over here. There are, let's see, 4 weeks to a month, right? Can we all agree on that? 4 weeks to a month. These are the weeks right here, okay? This is month 1, okay? The Rockstar says, you want me to sell to 10 people in 1 month? Girl, I can do that. In week 1. Dang. Most people can't do that. If you can do that, then I would argue that you are probably bordering on the line of Rockstar. But don't stop there, okay? Because if you are a Rockstar, I want you to see how you can use the system to go and win bigger, okay? So 10 units ends up being 760 points, okay? So in week 2, they go and they sell 9 sets of drops, okay? Still amazing. Seriously, that is not the norm. That ends up being 684 points. They're killing it. They're doing amazing, okay? Let's say in week 3 they go and they sell 8 more sets of drops, okay? That is 608 points. They're really doing incredible here. But even the Rockstar starts to see a little bit of a slowdown, right? Because they're selling to their warm market. They've talked about it a few times. And let's say they sell 3 in their 4th week. Amazing week. I don't know why I'm going to start coughing now, but we're going to roll with it, okay? So that ends up being 228 points for week 4. So what does this end up being for month 1? Let's calculate it out. Okay, that ends up being 30 sets of drops. Okay, so they went and they tripled the 10. They're like, sell 10, I'm going to sell 30. Okay, you go do you. That ends up being 2,280 points. Okay, everything's on a point system here. All right, amazing. Everybody cheer and smash that heart button for the Rockstar. You're incredible. Woo! Okay, let's move on to the system. The system, same 4 weeks, right? That's one thing we all have the same amount of, is time. We spend it differently, but we all have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay. So the system says sell to 10 new customers and recruit 2 brand partners. Okay. So it's not going to be, we can break this up a little. Let's say in week 1, they sell 3 sets of drops. Week 2, they sell 2 sets of drops. Week 3, they sell 3 sets of drops. And in week 4, they sell 2. That ends up being 10 sets of drops. Okay? Exactly what they were supposed to do. Not 1 set more. Okay? The difference is, with the system, is it's not just about selling. It is also about bringing in 2 brand partners and plugging them into the same machine and the same system that got you here. Okay, that's important. Just bringing them in and not plugging them into anything is not going to do what I'm about to show you. You have to plug these people into the system and into the machine as well. Okay, so the difference here is if you bring in 2 people, and I'm not going to put it on any specific week, it's going to vary. Okay, but let's say, let's put this here. Let's bring 2 people in who also sell 10 sets of drops, right? It's 76 points per set. You don't need to worry about the math. I like triple check the math, okay? 2 people who sell 10 sets of drops, essentially. That ends up being 1,520 points, okay? So if you add, this ends up being, I apologize, 760 in points with the 10 sets plus 1,520 equals, guess what? 2,280. And you're going, Cindy, it's the same exact. Heck yeah, it's the same exact. In month 1, same amount of points for selling 10 sets of drops and bringing in 2 people, then going and selling out 30 sets. Okay, that's month 1. The real magic happens in the following months. So I want you to hang with me. Okay, I'm going to show you what happens in month 2, and I have month 1 through 6 mapped out, but I'm going to show you what happens in month 2. And then I'm just going to give you the totals of what happens in the following months so you can really wrap your mind just how powerful this really is, okay? So month 2, let me write that out. Month 2. I see that? Whew, I just gave you a glimpse of some numbers there that I didn't mean for you to see. It's all right. I am not doing this in my head. I spent hours putting together these numbers and then triple checking. Okay, so we can all say that there are 4 weeks. I almost said to a year, but to a month. I'm only going to do the system. I apologize. I'm only going to do the system. The reason is because the Rockstar is going to have a hard time keeping this up. Right? All on their own, making these kinds of sales. And when it's only you, it's just hard to maintain. So we're just going to assume even that, let's say they stay a rock star and they can maintain selling 30 sets of drops every month. Okay. All right. So month 2 for the system. Let me write that. Okay. So in month 2, let's say the same thing. Let's assume the same thing. Week 1, they sell 3 sets of drops. Week 2, they sell 2 sets of drops. Week 3, they do another 3. Week 4, they sell another 2 sets of drops. Doing the bare minimum of 10 sets of drops. Now, I will say 10 new sets of drops, 10 new customers. And the reason you always want to be focusing on who are my 10 new customers is because then you'll have all the customers that ordered and are on a subscription from last month, plus this, okay? And I'm not even including that math, but we always aim for 10 new customers because every time you get 10 new customers and bring in 2 new brand partners, remember, that unlocks the ability to make $500 commissions, okay? Okay, so month 2, you sell 10 drops. The difference is you brought in 2 people last month and you're bringing in 2 people this month. And I'm not going to go too much into exponential compounded growth. Okay, but what I will say is it's not just a matter of multiplying everything by 2. There's exponential growth that happens when you have everybody doing more. Okay, so these numbers are 100% accurate. Okay, so in month 2, because you brought in 2 people and the people you brought in 2 people, that gives you 6 people selling 10 sets of drops at 76 points. Okay, that gives you a total of 4,560, okay, points, plus your 2 new people that you're bringing in. Okay, so this is the 2 people who also brought in 2 more people. Okay, this is you bringing in 2 more people. I hope that was clear. Last month, you brought in 2 people. Those 2 people brought in, let me show you. This is you. You brought in 2 people, right? And then they brought in 2 people. How many is that? Just so you can see that the math is correct across the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's that 6. Okay. You also, because you're amazing and you're a rock star, brought in 2 more people this month. Okay, so that's where this 2 comes in. I'm not going to always draw this out, but just so you can see where this math is coming from. Okay, so this equals 1,520. Okay, so we're going to add this up right here. These are what your brand partners that you brought into the business created. And this is 6,080 in points, and it ends up being 80 sets of drops. Is what that ends up being. Okay. And then this is 760. Right? So this plus this equals, for a grand total in month 2, 6,840 points. Now let's look. What did the Rockstar bring in? Rockstar brought in 2,280 and got celebrated, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, you're so amazing. You're such a rockstar. Oh my gosh, you're so amazing. Meanwhile, the normal, average, ordinary person is just selling to 10 new customers and bringing in 2 people and plugging them into the system with the same exact goal and tagging them in this video right here. And they hit 6,840. Now, this is where the magic just keeps getting crazy, okay? Like I said, I'm not going to show you all the math for all these months, but let's look and see what happens in month 3. I'm just going to show you the numbers. If you were to continue on this trend of getting 10 new customers, remember, your role every month is not to just hand it off to the people you bring in and hope that they do it for you. Every month, your goal, 10 new customers, 2 new brand partners that you bring in. Okay, so important. In those 2 brand partners that you bring in, you're plugging them into the system and showing them this video and plugging them into the training and showing them how much money can really be made. Okay, now these are not income. Remember, these are your volume. Okay, but volume leads to income. All right, so in month 3, if you were to continue on this trend, where these people are bringing in 2 people, these people are bringing in 2 people, and you bring in 2 more people, look at these numbers. Okay, what ends up happening is you will end month 3 of your team selling 270 sets of drops for a grand volume total of 20,520. Month 3, normal, average, ordinary, little old you. Just bringing in 10 new customers and 2 new brand partners and showing those brand partners how to do this. Hang on until you get to month 6. Okay. Now let's say all the people on your team, okay, They're doing the same exact thing. This is where exponential growth comes in. And there's a lot of math involved in this, okay? That's why I'm just going to give you the numbers. That's the math. All right, here are the numbers. Month 4, you do 10 and 2. You teach everybody else to do 10 and 2. This is what your volume looks like. Your team will have sold 900 sets of drops between you and your team for a volume total of 61,560. Little you! That's you! Normal, average, ordinary person with a monthly volume of 61,560? Are you kidding me? That is insane. Absolutely insane. All right, let's keep going. 2 more months. I want you to see this. Hang tight. Month 5, I will tell you that according to this and this math, and if every single person in your organization did 10 and 2 every single month, by month 5, you would actually hit a 6-figure income. Okay, you would actually make a monthly income that would contribute to a 6-figure a year income. Does that make sense? But what you're going to find is that not everybody is going to get into action. Not everybody is going to commit to doing 10 and 2. Some people will do it a little bit. Some people will not do it at all. Some people will even fail to plug their teams into the system, and those people won't understand the value of doing 10 and 2. Okay. But if everything worked perfectly, in a perfect world, in month 5, you would actually hit that target to be able to make 6 figures in 6 months. But we don't live in a perfect world, but I'm going to give you the numbers anyways, okay? You would have sold, I didn't do the drops numbers. That's okay. I'm going to give you the volume numbers. Volume of, I don't have it. Oh, yes, I do. Okay, 187,720. By month 5, you will have broken through that 100,000 volume mark by a lot, pushing through that new almost to 200,000 really volume mark. Little old you, just doing 10 and 2. This is you also doing 10 and 2 every month, okay? And maybe that's where I should have shown you the math. Maybe I'll go back and show you. Okay, month 6. This is what I want you to see too. Month 6. If you were to continue on this trend, your team will have sold 5,770 sets of drops. Look, that's insane. That is absolutely insane. Are you guys ready for this? With a monthly volume, the normal, average, ordinary person just focusing on 10 and 2 hits 400,000, 437,760. That's hard to even say. 437,000.
Just take a look at these numbers. Is anyone else mind blown as you're going through this? Like, I hope you're putting yourself in the position of, I'm the system, and I'm going month 1, step by step by step, and allow yourself to visualize your business to boom that way. Because I know that as I look at this, I'll tell you, my mind's like, I don't know if that's possible. That's perfect. I don't know. Like, I get these thoughts in my mind. I don't know if you get those thoughts. But then I start to challenge that and think, why not me? Why not you? Why can't it be this way? I strive for the standard. And hey, if we end up, Les Brown has a saying, he says, if you shoot for the stars, you might just hit the moon. Who here wouldn't mind even 10% of where that's at, right? Becky said this in the chat too, and I'll have you go, babe. Get this. Remember, you're a big business. You want sales volumes in your business to flow. She put a cool number here. She said $107,000 a month of sales volume in your entire organization equals $150,000 a year. So what that means is this: you have a business where, let's say, every year you do $1 million in sales. Who here would love $1 million revenue business, right? Like, think about that. You can literally build $1 million business here, and that'll make you pretty much multiple six figures. Like, that's a good comp plan. That's like 15-20% of your revenue is profit to you. And get this, how much does it cost to get started in your business, by the way? How much does it cost? Like
30 bucks.
30 bucks and trying some products.
You can find it in your couch.
Yeah, what's your overhead every month here? Like, how much is that? I can you call subscription using products you love that you would buy anyway an overhead, I guess?
You'll buy supplements elsewhere,
Right?
that's not paying you. You'll
Yeah.
buy shakes elsewhere, that's not paying you, right? So, and I think that is such a different perspective, because this is why people don't take this. That's why when you hear people say, and I hope this really sinks in, when you hear people say, oh, that the business doesn't work. So many people I know don't do well in this business. And the reason is not the business, it's because people don't take it seriously. Because they didn't take out their like $50,000 of small business loan to start a business, because it's not a priority for them, because it's too cheap. This business is too cheap, right? Everything is voluntary. You don't even have to show up today, right? So that's why people are not successful, because they don't treat it like a business, right? So another perspective I want to shift is, if you're thinking, oh, that's a perfect scenario, the two people I brought in didn't do anything. In what business can you expect to get 10 customers a month and stay profitable? Can you imagine opening up a restaurant or a Starbucks, or like, it makes no sense, right? And we're not selling like $1 million houses. Like, we're selling like $150 drops. Like, it's not that expensive. So it really is the perspective, right? So if your people are not doing anything, go find more people. All you need is 2 people that are doing something every single month, right? So, and making sure, so the more numbers you have, the more likely this scenario is going to happen, right? Because not everybody's going to take it seriously, but it's not the business's fault. It's not their time yet, right? And also, a lot of people, when they start the business, maybe they're not, launching right away, maybe just timing, but as they see you progress, they're going to come back. They're going to be like, okay, wow, like you're winning with or without me. And my life still sucks. I still have no money and no time. So let me go see what you're doing, right? So that is the shift in mentality. And once you wrap your head around how simple this business really is and how powerful it is, not only the power in your income potential and your time freedom, but the ability to literally change lives. There's literally nothing out there. And when you have that type of belief in this industry, in this company, in this business, literally, like, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you, So I know we went over a little over time, but I would love to actually just wrap up with some call to action. Babe, did you want to talk about the Add to Machine challenge that's ending on Monday?
Well, first thing is this:
Okay.
you have to make the decision. Who here is committed to the strategy here? Put me in the comments if you're like, I'm committed. Every month, the mission is 10 and 2. Strive to do that. We just changed this up a little bit, by the way, because we've been doing this for 6 months. So from the mastermind, we realized that people have different run dates, because what we've been doing is every month there's a time period, do it between here and here. Now we shifted this. This is in the featured section, where any single time you decide to start from that date, within 28 days, if you can have 10 customers and 2 partners, or 12 people, at least 2 of them being partners, you can achieve 10 and 2, get invited to our mastermind, and make a cool flyer and everything. So let's say you're like, I just got a customer today. This is my day 1. Perfect. 28 days are on the clock. Don't let your minimum be a maximum, right? Do it faster like what Angie just did. You might be like Adela. I think Adela's probably almost 10 and 2 then, based on what she's saying there, right? So take a look at this. We have a tracker there, like mind your own business, right? Track this yourself. And we love to include you in that.
What you track will grow. And this is super key. So this shift is going to open up space in your mind where you don't have to think about which day did we start the qualification. It's literally first day of the first order you get. 28 days later, do you have 12 people with at least 2 brand partners? Okay, activated brand partners. So we do have a tracking sheet that you can monitor yourself, but if you go to your organization report in your back office, you'll be able to see that as well. But we really should know where our business all is, right? So, and we're super excited because there's a lot of things happening next week. And as you've been hearing about this whole Renew launching, we are running currently still. If you missed Manager Monday, we launched a Renew challenge, an Add to Machine challenge. So the people that add the most people to the machine, and drop in the chat if you know what the machine link is. Okay, I want to see if like you want to get so good where it's like on the back of your hand. Okay. And the people that are adding the most people in the machine are going to get 2 boxes of the upgraded Renew for free. One for you and one for sampling, or Joanne got it correct. Yep, wellness360.community is the machine link. Okay, so if you're like, what is the machine? And you haven't gone through the onboarding, you're not familiar with the message scripts, that's the link you send to people when they ask about anything, really, right? So specifically the drops, because that's what we're leading with right now, okay? And I want to share with you really quick is, babe, can you make me a co-host so I can share the screen? So James mentioned earlier that for anybody that is already in the machine, and I really hope this is like still a muscle we're building, right? So if you're not used to checking your emails, if you're not receiving anything from Wellness 360, but if you already put in your information, it's probably because it's in spam. So that's why you couldn't, I still can't share. Let's see. Okay, now I can. Let me find that page. Okay, so if you're already in the machine, can you see my screen?
Yes.
GIF. Status of sexy. So this is the email that you all should have received if you're in the machine, and all your prospects that are in the machine. We have almost 2,000 people. That's like us and prospects, right? People that are learning about it an hour ago this morning. So if you didn't get it, check your spam folder. And if you still didn't get it, just put your information in again. You're not going to get multiple emails. Whenever we get duplicates, it automatically merges. Okay, so you're not going to get like 5 of the same emails. The subject is get the scoop on the fountain of youth. And I really want you to look at the information here that's being shared, because you can use it. Okay, this is what your prospects are seeing, but this is also what you can use to learn to market the business, right? So for example, it talks about all the benefits of what this product does. So if you don't know what the product does, here's a list of all the benefits, right? It even talks about a VIP list, and we launched this last week, where they can learn more about it. So when people say, hey, can you give me more information on the Renew? You can direct it to them. You can say, hey, did you happen to get an email from Wellness 360? There's a VIP list, and in that landing page, there's a lot of testimonials, there's videos, there's ingredients, there's so many things about this product. So then instead of you knowing what to say and have to convince them, you can just direct them into the right place, right? We also shared with them a video of this product and how cool it looks, okay? And we're also even introducing them to become a brand partner. You're gonna have people that are watching your posts, that are watching your social media, and they're already excited, and they're like, what do you do? But this email might just get them over the hump, because we actually tell them you can also get a head start and become a brand partner, right? And we close it with a call to action. We tell them to message the friend who shared this with you. So for me, it's James, because I put James's name and who invited me. This is going to be your name. Whatever they put your name in, right? And Dr. Pierce shared a really cool tip. When she shares the machine, she actually gives specific instructions. She tells them, okay, fill in your information and put Pia Washington and who invited you, right? So then people are clear, because every email they get is going to insert your whatever they put in there. It could be question mark if they don't put anything, right? So it directs it back to that person. So utilize these as tools, right? As you're following up with people that you send the machine to, but you don't know if they're in it. This is a great opportunity to ask them, hey, did you get an email on that awesome product launch that's happening on Monday? And they're like, no. And you can ask them, look into your spam folder. And if they're like, oh, it's not in here, okay, here it is again. That's your other opportunity to get them into the machine again, right? Because without having to be, like pushy, right? Like, did you see the information, right? So this is another opportunity. But if you're not looking out for these opportunities, there's no opportunities for you to follow up, where you have to get really creative, right? So we just sent this out an hour ago. So all the people that you want to follow up with that you send the machine link to, this is a great opportunity to touch base with them. But read the email first. And if you don't have it, put yourself in the machine again, or ask someone about it. We can forward you the email.
Everything that's here, I bet you, if you really wanted it, you could do 10 and 2 this week, like with everything leveraged. So guys, this week is going to be your best week ever. Put me in the comments. You're ready for it to be the biggest week of your business. You're playing the game. You're here. You got the strategies. Stay tuned. Monday, we have our next Manager Monday call, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. We're going to launch something that we're going to launch even more strategies on how to actually leverage Renew. Huge challenge that it's going to blow your mind. It's going to be cool. All right. But other than that, everybody, we are so proud of you. Let's crush this. Let's get 10 and 2 done. And on that, have a great one. All right, guys. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a
guys.
blessed
Okay,
weekend.